This is the Royals Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Kansas City Royals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in to the Royals Postcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chance Liebau, and I'm here to bring you reaction to every single Royals game the rest of the way here on the Locked On Royals channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Chance Liebau. That's right there. If you're watching the live video, it's right there by my name tag. If you're not here live and if you can't make a show live, don't worry. These episodes are uploaded for you to listen to on demand wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for making the Locked On Royals podcast or Royals Postcast your first listen of the day. Before we get started, remember to subscribe to the channel if you're here and turn on our notifications so that you get an alert whenever we go live. Thank you so much for joining the show. Feel free to join the live chat and let me know your thoughts on the game. And I'm going to try to respond to a lot of comments. And we have already got some people in here. Somebody already saying, how is Mikey not an all-star? I agree wholeheartedly. We'll actually get into that here in our second segment. It will be discussed here coming up later in the show. Other people talking about Boland's Money Club. Good game from Rave. Made me eat my words from yesterday, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being wrong sometimes as long as my Royals are able to win. But yeah, great games from a lot of people today as the Royals win 4-0. We're going to get into a lot of those key performances, especially that of John Rave, the entire bottom of the lineup, and much more. But first, here is what you'll be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Michael Lorenzen's day at the plate. Finally, we get this was the best performance for Michael Lorenzen since the Astros game way back. I think that was when the Royals were still on their winning streak. But Michael Lorenzen finally kind of put it all together. And the command was there today. He gets out to that hot start. I was really impressed by what he did because it wasn't just he was really dominant with his fastball, but all of his pitches seemed to be working. All of them were in the zone. That was kind of what impressed me the most. I'm going to go up, I'm going to try and find the Savant page, but I thought he was really good today. I thought that was the best Michael Lorenzen we've seen all season since, of course, other than, I guess you could say, that outing from against the Astros in Houston. But you look at you look at him on the day, 20 changeups. So he mixed it up really well. Through 20 changeups, 19 sinkers, 10 sweepers, 10 cutters, 10 fastballs, 8 curveballs, 5 sliders. He really had everything working the entire game, and he was working both sides of the plate. He had struggled all season long against lefties, and what he did was he countered with his changeup against lefties. He threw 19 of his 20 changeups to left-handed batters today. He was dominant with his changeup, and it was really good today. He got 11 swings and 8 whiffs on his changeup. He was only in the zone on 30% of them, but he also got them to chase a lot of them. And I saw somebody say his command was really good. It was really good. Savant only says he was in the zone on 46% of his pitches, but he was efficiently out of the zone. You know what I mean? The pitches that were out of the zone weren't so far out of the zone that they were generating still swings and misses. The changeup was generating a ton of swings and misses. The lefties were not seeing it very well. So I have to applaud the game plan from Brian Sweeney and this coaching staff for kind of working on an issue for Michael Lorenzen. Because if you think back to that Seattle game, Michael Lorenzen was not great against the Mariners. He went 4 2/3, gave up 6 hits. He wasn't great. The command definitely wasn't there. He had to battle to get through near the 5th inning. I really liked what I saw from Michael Lorenzen today. And I think that he's one of the better trade pieces on the team. He's the guy other than Seth Lugo. I'd be shocked if he was on the roster come August 1, as I heard a siren going by my apartment. But I think that what I've seen from Lorenzen, he has been one of the best 4, if not the best 5 starter in Major League Baseball this season. I really think that this is the best version of Michael Lorenzen. I think that the Royals pitching coaching staff, for everybody not named Brady Singer, they're really good at developing changeups. That's the one thing that they've done. You look at every pitcher on this Royals staff, they've all got borderline elite changeups. And what we saw from Lorenzen was just that today. An elite changeup, got a ton of swing and miss. Wasn't in the zone, but when it was in the zone, it wasn't middle, and that allowed him to get a lot of weak contact and allowed him to get through 7. I mean, you look at his total outing today, 7 innings. He struck out 5 in the first 3 innings and then ended the day with 7 punch outs, 3 base runners allowed. I mean, he shoved it today. That was the best Lorenzen we've seen all season other than the Astros game. And it increases his trade value going into trade season, which we'll talk about because, we're about a week away from things getting really hot, things getting really interesting heading into the trade deadline. So we'll get into that at some point here on the show. At least one of us will. I'll tell you about the schedule coming up for the week because I will not be with us for the entire week this week. I'll give you an update on that at the end of the show. But yeah, Michael Lorenzen, really good today. Trying to take a look at the comments. Chris saying, can this team realistically still make the playoffs? And Chris, I try not to be an overt optimist. Usually I'm a pessimist when it comes to these kind of things. But honestly, the way that things are going right now for the Royals and the way the American League is playing out, you look at the standings right now, and this is after today's games. The Royals now 43-48, obviously not where you want to be, but you look at where everybody is at in the standings right now. I mean, they're chasing Seattle. They're 5 back of Seattle. The Guardians have lost now 10 in a row. They are totally out of the race. The Twins, you could see yourselves leapfrogging the Twins with a win tomorrow against the Pirates. They haven't played great baseball. The Angels just got swept over the weekend. The Royals swept the Rangers earlier this season. So the teams that the Royals need to surpass in the standings are right there for the taking. And if you ask me, I mean, looking at those teams, the Red Sox, the Rangers, the Angels, and the Twins, those are 4 teams right there. I would say 3 of them, the Royals, are definitively better than. Today, tomorrow, the next day, this version of the Royals is better than the Angels. I think we can all agree on that, especially when it comes to run differential. The Angels have a very putrid run differential. I think they're better than this version of the Rangers. Now, I'm not saying that they would have a better record at the end of the season, but the Rangers are a team that very inconsistent, a lot of swing and miss in that lineup, and the pitching staff just can't seem to stay healthy. The only team that I think is better from those 4 is the Red Sox, and that team has been mildly inconsistent all season and has a ton of young bats in that lineup where you don't know exactly what you're going to get from them on a day-in, day-out basis. They're banking on their youth, and people are kind of pegging them as potential sellers at the deadline. Those are the 4 teams you need to overcome to get behind Seattle. And who knows what Seattle has in the tank. We've seen the Royals and we've seen Seattle have very different ends of season. Seattle has notoriously struggled at the end of the season. But, yeah, I think it's realistic to see them competing for a playoff spot. I don't know if I'd say it's realistic to see them taking a playoff spot. But I think the way this pitching staff is going right now, you see the offense, the pitching staff in the entire series or the entire road trip, really. The pitching staff didn't have a bad day at all on the mound. And I think the Royals have a legitimate chance of making things interesting, putting themselves in a position to compete with a very mediocre, very mildly tamed American League wildcard race. So I'm not saying they will, but they're dangling that meat right in front of them. And this dog's going to hunt. The Royals are a competitive group. They don't let them get hot because they get the Pirates this weekend, who have been one of the worst teams in baseball this year. Although they've been playing a little bit better, they lost the first 2 games of their series over the weekend, and then they get the Mets, who have not been great here recently. So you get an opportunity this week to take an advantage of teams that you can beat and take advantage of them at home. And I think that's something the Royals haven't been able to do in a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Royals are able to do this week, because if they have a winning homestand and they go into the All-Star break 2 games below 500, 3 games out of a wild card, they will buy. They might sell Seth Lugo, but they also will buy some pieces for 2025 and 2026, because I think that they see themselves as a potential playoff contender. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but there is a playoff team configurable in this organization that the Royals could make a push in a very mediocre American League. Now, if they were in the National League when they're chasing the Padres, Giants, and Cardinals, I'd have to say no. But the American League is very mid. It's very mediocre. I think the Royals could definitely make some noise if they continue to pitch the way that they have. All right, when we come back, we will talk about the bottom of the lineup and more of my notes on tonight's game as the Royals take down the Diamondbacks 4-0. That's coming up next here on the Royals Postcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Having an all-in-one financial tracker like Monarch Money makes it so easy to budget every month so that I know how much money I'm spending on groceries, dining out, and shopping each and every month. You can take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. The notes I have from today's game, another day where they had just 2 innings of offense, and I understand that was really all they needed on the heels of Michael Lorenzen's really good outing, but just 2 innings of offense, a thing that we've had issues with all season with the Royals where they just cannot seem to get out of their own way. They can't seem to get some consistent hitting in every single inning. It's just 1 or 2 innings where they'll dabble in a pair of runs, 3 or 4 runs, and then that'll be it. That's what concerns me the most, the droughts that this offense endures. Another hitless first 9, another hitless day, first time through the order. That concerns me. That's something that they need to improve upon, that I think that it is something to be worried about heading into this final stretch of games, heading into the All-Star break, because it's not going to fix itself. It has to be much better than it was today and yesterday for sure. Bottom half of the lineup finally comes through. I mean, I talked so much trash on John Rave yesterday, and honestly, it was well-deserved because he has not been very good this year. He goes 1 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. And, I mean, the hit was, if they weren't holding a runner on first base, then you're talking about a hit to first that's probably a double play or a ground out to first at the very least. But at the same time, you have to give credit where credit's due. John Rave did a job. Stole a base after his walk, was pretty effective in the outfield. So I was mildly okay with what we saw from John Rave today. Nick Lofton finally breaks out of the 0 for streak. Kyle Isbell goes an ugly, and I'm talking about a ugly 2 for 4. I'm not saying he's back, but man, Kyle Isbell has been a massive hole in this lineup that the Royals just cannot seem to find an answer to. But the bottom of the lineup, while it was ugly, not a whole lot of hard hit balls. I mean, let's go to Savant and look at the box score. I mean, 4 hard hit balls from the bottom 5 in the order. That's fine. I mean, 2 from Isbell, 1 from Rave, 1 from Lofton. I mean, that's fine. That's what you're going to get on a day-to-day basis, but still not sold on them being needing. I still think they need an answer. I still think they need a guy to hit 7th, a guy to protect Cags, because the bottom of the lineup continues to be unimpressive. I mean, they have a horrible slugging percentage. They don't create runs. But today they were good enough, and they really helped spearhead an offense that had been in a significant drought for the rest of the game. Winning road trip, very much a winning road trip for the Royals. Going above 500 in a week is a small way to dig yourself out of a hole that you put yourself in. The old football coach saying you have to eat an elephant 1 bite at a time. That seems to be the Royals' method to getting themselves out of this hole. It's not going to be a quick fix. You can only play 1 day at a time, 1 game a day, unless there's a rainout. That's kind of how the Royals are going to have to approach these next couple of weeks heading into the All-Star break and the trade deadline, because I think they want to compete. I think that this franchise, this organization, I think they're going to be aggressive because they know that when number 7 takes the field and when number 50 or number 55 takes the mound or number 67 takes the mound, that you have as good a chance to win a baseball game as really anybody else in Major League Baseball, because those guys are special and they don't come around often. They don't come around to Kansas City very often. Those guys are guys that you buy in on, that you want to build around. And the Royals have those guys right now. And I don't think the front office is going to just sell away their chances to make postseason in back-to-back years for only the second time in the last 40 years of Royals baseball. So I think that they will be aggressive if they have the opportunity to be. But a very big week coming up with the Pirates and the Mets. They have to win game 1 against the Pirates because they did not do themselves any favors already this season with some of their homestands. Taking a look, I know it doesn't have really anything to do with today's game, but I wanted to talk about it. Michael Garcia not being an all-star under Jazz instead of Jazz Chisum, that is a significant oversight by Major League Baseball, and I get it. Jazz Chisum's a great name, plays for the Yankees, but Jazz Chisum is hitting 245 right now and hasn't done jack squat for about a month. He's got 2.3 WAR. Michael Garcia's WAR this season is 2.4. And I get it, WAR is not the end-all, be-all. But Michael Garcia is hitting 303. He's playing really good defense at third. 23 doubles is top 10 in the league. 8 homers, 18 steals. And he's playing really good defense at third. I get it. Jazz Chisum plays the hot corner for one of the best teams in the American League. But for him to be an all-star over Michael Garcia, sure, it'll get more eyes on the game. It'll get more people excited. Not as many people are going to care outside of the Kansas City area. But I just thought that was a significant oversight. I was happy that Bobby Witt Jr. was going to make it. But, yeah, he was the one that really – it was confusing to me how he didn't make it, especially when I saw Jazz Chisum was on the roster. And then you look at some of the pitchers on the other side. I mean, I get it. Not every pitcher can make it. I was a little bit surprised that Carlos Estevez didn't make it as a pitcher. I was a little surprised that Seth Lugo didn't make it as a pitcher. But you also have to take into account the Royals are below 500, not a big market. And they are every team has to have an all-star. There's 15 teams in the American League, so you already have 15 spots taken up. And most teams will usually send a pitcher if they're bad, like the White Sox are sending Shane Smith as their all-star this year. A lot of bad teams will have pitchers as their all-stars because they don't have very many good bats. But I just thought it was a significant oversight by Major League Baseball to put Jazz bleeping Chisum in there. But obviously the rivalry with Jazz and Michael obviously has some juice to it now already. Somebody asking why trade from your rotation when you don't have a ton of pitching depth. I mean, that's what the Royals do have. They have a ton of pitching depth. I mean, Kyle Wright's in AAA. Alec Marsh is starting rehab assignment sometime soon. Cole Reagan's got good news on his elbow injury. If there's one thing the Royals do have, it's a ton of pitching depth. Lewinder Avila was going to get called up before an injury shut him down for a week or so. The one thing the Royals have in the organization is a ton of pitching depth. That's why they can trade all of their – I'd be okay if they traded 3 of their guys in the rotation. They've got a ton of pitching depth. It's the one thing they've shown that they can develop. So that's exactly why they trade. That's exactly why they trade from the pitching staff. They're not going to trade from the lineup. Who's going to want any of the bats in this lineup outside of the top 4 who are pretty much untouchable? But yeah, I mean, they're going to trade the pitchers because they have a ton of pitching depth. They saw Noah Cameron come up. I mean, they've got like 8 major league caliber starters in this organization. 2 of them are on the injured list. One of them's in AAA, and that's not even talking about the guys that could be up at any point. I mean, they are going to have plenty of pitchers to be in this rotation for years to come. I think it's a reason why they're comfortable not extending a guy like Chris Bubich. Starting to look at some more comments. All-star shenanigans every year. Teams with no fans sending guys directly through the vote. Rather have the guys rested and working on hitting fastballs. Yeah, I think that's also true. I'd rather have them kind of resting up. It's a long season, especially the last couple weeks. But yeah, I agree. All-star is kind of it's a fashion show. It's not really anything for me. Ball and Money's Club. John humbled you. Absolutely, he did. I love it when guys humble me and tell me or prove me wrong. I'd love for everybody in that bottom of the order to prove me wrong every day. Anthony saying one play that I feel like got overlooked today because they were announcing the All-Stars at the time was that line drive back at Lorenzen. He was able to snag. I'm going to be honest. I took a nap. I think it was in the 5th inning, and I might not have seen that. So, yeah, I might have missed that one. Somebody saying, I don't think we should be trading Carter Jensen. I would love to see him and Ben Kudrna be a part of the future of the Royals. One of the 3 catchers is going to get traded, either Jensen, Mitchell, or Ramon Ramirez. I don't think it's Jensen. I think Jensen's your catcher in 2026. But I don't think they have to worry about trading Kudrna or Jensen. I think that they would trade somebody from the lower minor leagues. I think Blake Mitchell's the guy that I would move on from because I don't think I don't find him that special, and I think that his prospect pedigree has a lot to do with where he was drafted and the fact that he's an elite defensive catcher behind the plate. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for hopping in the comments. Tomorrow and Tuesday, it will be Jack hosting the postcast. I'm going to be down on my way down to Frisco tomorrow. I'll be in a car for 6 hours tomorrow. And then hopefully I'll be back on Wednesday in time for the postcast. If I'm not back in time right after the game, I will do my best to do it like maybe 30 minutes after because I'm at liberty to my boss who's driving us down there. So Jack will be with you the next 2 days, and then I'll be back on Wednesday. And then I believe the Royals have an off day on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Royals have an off day on Thursday. So I'll be back wrapping up the first half of the season. But I do apologize, but you guys are in great hands with Jack. He's great, and he really enjoys doing this because you guys make it enjoyable. You guys are fun to be around, and appreciate you guys. We peaked at about 50 listeners today. That's really great. Really great stuff. So I appreciate you guys all tuning in, and we will see you. I will see you on Wednesday night. Jack will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on the notifications so that you know when we go live and upload a video after the game is over. Appreciate you guys. See you guys soon. This has been the Royals Postcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.